what was your first question again? Oh, sure. Yeah, to a certain extent. The oil and gas just eclipses all, and so it's really there are other industries there, but it just I think if you were ever to look at the numbers and pencil them out, you'd see the oil and gas industry is just 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 in terms of foreign investment in these areas. So yeah, it does.
Question. We got a question in the back, John Calabrese. one sec, John. Got to get you on the record.
Thank you for the presentation, Tom. I have just one question. In your experience, have you seen companies from a particular country outside the region or from a particular region outside the Middle East demonstrate a higher propensity for incurring the costs and risks and uncertainties of doing business than, say, your typical American company?
Sure.
If it's
Yeah, that's a great question, and John, and thank you for everything you've done for us with viewpoints in this presentation. It's a great question, and the answer is China. I mean, the Chinese, the way they operate in Iraq is just so different from anybody else. If you see where they live in a hotel. They don't have a compound. They don't have a walled-off. I tried to get into the U.S. Embassy to meet a colleague, and wasn't even allowed in the complex. The Chinese live in a hotel. Their Arabic is near fluent. They don't hire security companies, and if they do, it's on a maybe an anecdotal basis. And they're able to borrow from the Central Bank of Iraq or Central Bank of China at almost 0% rates, and so they can finance these incredible infrastructure developments at little or no cost. So I mean, it's just difficult to compete in that market.
And why are they so unconcerned about security? Are they just not at risk the way a Westerner?
Sure, I think we paid a huge price for this as the United States, and I think they're much low on the priority list.
Right. One last question, gentlemen.
Naufal Hassan, Iraqi commercial attaché here in DC. Thank you for your presentation, but I have a couple comments.
Sure.
One of them, I do agree with many facts you presented, but unfortunately it looks like you put a lot of pessimistic perspective when you present these facts. If I assume myself an investor, when I see these numbers, I probably pull myself a little bit back, but I'm sure in China or somewhere else, they present same facts in different way. So I'll give you one example. For example, the visa. You don't need to go through the security companies to get a visa. I can assure you, if you come to my office, if you are an investor, within a couple days, probably last week, we received an order from the Ministry of Interior. They have to issue the visa for foreign investor within 24 hours. I know sometime your application be lost, and I do agree with you. There is a lot of lack of the information that Iraqi government and Iraqi private sector need to present it, so then it will be available for the investors. But I can give you another example. With all these challenges you presented, there is a lot of opportunities. And two things, in last May when the investment conference in London, a lot of investors raised the issue of purchasing the land for real estate and housing project. Iraqi government, within 11 days, they put a proposal to amend and revise the investment law number 13 for 2006, and it takes a couple months or probably a little bit more to pass it through parliament. So now foreign could purchase land for housing projects, and probably you and many of the audience know there is a deficit around 3 million housing unit next couple of years. So there is a lot of opportunities down, it's not just in the housing. Now, the second thing, which is probably linked to your concern and many other friends here, American experts have responsibility to present these facts in a way that not paint a rosy picture in Iraq or mislead them, but guide them to these opportunities in Iraq. Otherwise, because we have an urgent need in Iraq, if American investors cannot address it, somebody else will address it, and we cannot wait for that. Thank you.
And thank you for that. Is that true? The real estate investment law has been amended, so now non-Iraqis can own real estate. And when did that happen?
Well, before the Parliament ended their session last year, it's exemption just for housing project. Okay. Right now, if you would like to purchase a land to build a factory for anything else, I mean, definitely you can lease it for time up to 99 years with renewable option.
Okay,
so it's almost
are not allowed to own land.
Yes, definitely. But for housing purpose only. Now it's allowed foreign investor or foreign people to purchase a land to build housing project only.
Okay. All right. So. No, I mean, I think and thank you for informing that. We were aware that there was an exemption to the law, but the law, we understand, is still in force. And so that's how we're still counseling clients. But I totally agree with you. And when I talk to clients, I couldn't be more optimistic about Iraqi's future. And I think if you chart out the security situation and just project it forward, what we'll see is a diminishment of all of those obstacles that we just talked about here. And I, for one, could not want it more for the people of Iraq and for the companies that will be involved in Iraq. But as a lawyer, I have a right and a duty to inform people of what they'll see, and it's take your medicine, an hour later.
Well, let's just hope the business climate gets better and better in Iraq, and more people come to Tom
for
advice.
That'd be wonderful.
Thank you very much, Tom, for all your time.